I was just looking briefly at the papers today, especially Daily Nation, and say there's a lot that they've packed in today. But right there, the main story, Koome, the Chief Justice, and top judges fight for survival. Now, the High Court has blocked the Judicial Service Commission from proceeding with petitions seeking the removal of the 7 Supreme Court judges, even as the exercise was entering a critical stage, following which the officials would have been cleared or told to face a tribunal. This comes amid an onslaught by some senior lawyers and the judiciary's tense relations with the president. So who wants them out and why? That story is on pages 4 and 5. There's a list there of the JSC team on the front page. And also right on top there is the lawyers who filed petitions with the JSC. I wondered how this affects public trust in the judiciary. Mariam and Eric, what your quick thoughts are on that? Because while all of this is happening, it's about the public trust now.
It is.
And what that does for people when it comes to the judiciary.
Just speaking as
as public,
it doesn't look good, to be quite honest. These are the people, we put our trust in. They're meant to be neutral arbiters. They're meant to be this sort of coming together, upholders of the law, who kind of keep at bay the executive and the legislature and, all of that and tie it all together. So to see them being attacked, it's like, okay, is this politically motivated? Is it not? Is there merit? Is it not? But either way, now there's doubts, now there's questions, now there's, should we disbar a whole Supreme Court?
Right.
The fact that you're asking the question already is quite a big problem.
Yeah.
And then you look at the people pushing, you're like, Ahmed Nasir, is that a guy I quote unquote trust? Nelson Harvey, same story. But is it possible that their petition has merit? Possible.
Yeah.
So the fact that Izo Maswali Ziko doesn't really do well. However, I don't think for lower courts that this really means much from a civilian point of view, just that perspective. I think generally if I have a court in case, I'll continue, things will keep moving, I'll show up when required, and etc. etc. But should they be removed now, that's when we can start having serious conversations around our judiciary and be like, what's happening?
And the political and sort of like the legal implications as well. But that story does continue in pages 4 and 5. The High Court's decision to halt Judicial Service Commission JSC proceedings seeking the ouster of the 7 Supreme Court judges, including the Chief Justice, underlines the magnitude of the battle facing the top judges. I'm trying to think if there was ever such an attempt of this magnitude. I think this is like a full-on onslaught.
It is.
This is a big one.
Of its kind.
It's a big one, yeah.
But also at the same time, it shouldn't be that big. I think we are so politically charged as a country that already the Supreme Court, just because of the presidential petitions and the politics around it, so the Supreme Court always gets this mud slung at it. And now when you see 2 senior counsel, former chairpersons of the of the Law Society of Kenya, coming out there and saying, there's juris pesa, there's a corruption in the judiciary, and we are filing petitions, and so on and so forth. How it comes out to the public is that wow, wenyewe kuna corruption. Then the Law Society of Kenya also joins in and joins into this statement of we need to actually hold investigations, and there's pressure left, right, and center. That to me is not a good thing to sling such kind of mud at the apex of the judiciary if you do not have substantial grounds. I think it's important that if there's a petition that's been filed, let it go through proper process and let the public also take time to interrogate, because Ahmed Nasir's petition and Harvey's petitions, they're public. Let the public also just look at them and see, okay, so what's the issue here? If you're saying that there is corruption in the highest court in the land, whom are you accusing? Of the 7 judges, are you saying that all of them receive money? Who tried to bribe them? And how? Or were they soliciting a bribe? When? In the case of Sonko, for example, he's shared videos saying this is a judge, and I recorded the judge, and this is what the judge was saying. And it went through a tribunal, and the judge was found guilty and was removed from office. In this particular case, I don't know what exactly is corruption and juris pesa related accusation against all the 7 judges.
Right.
Whether it's how they conduct themselves or not, well, take it through a tribunal.
Right.
I think it would have been nice if the courts had actually said, all right, you go ahead. The JSC, go ahead, investigate. Investigate, and let's see publicly what you come up with. The petitions are public. Let the JSC investigation also now come up with a public report. And if they're recommending the establishment of a tribunal, let those grounds be clear. Let the tribunal also just be public. And let's clear this thing. We cannot be every 2 years throwing mud at our justice system. This is the one that ought not to be getting. Because when people now when you start losing trust in the judiciary, then you have no trust.
It's literally a ripple effect across every other sector and industry. So definitely a story that will follow. I like the points you're making about let the public also be aware of exactly who's been accused and why. Let us also give us those insights to also just kind of, have the conversation and see.
Have we left any room for the possibility,
No, go ahead.
Possibility that the petitions could be politically motivated. People could be acting on behalf of others. It's just putting it out there.
Yeah, no.
It's a possibility.
Fair point to put out there.
Yes.
Very quickly, Britain vanished